The American Civil War is one of the most defining moments in American history. But what about the lesser-known facts surrounding this turbulent time period? Well, today we're going to be taking a look at 10 of the most fascinating and overlooked facts from this pivotal moment in history that you won't learn anywhere else. So stick around and let's jump into it. Number 10. The first shots. Where were the first shots of the Civil War fired? Not at Fort Sumter. While Fort Sumter is widely known as the location of the first shots of the Civil War, this isn't entirely accurate. Prior to the attack on Fort Sumter, Confederate forces had already opened fire on a different U.S. military installation, namely Fort Pickens in Pensacola, Florida. On December 9, 1860, Confederate troops demanded the surrender of the fort, but this was refused. In response, the Confederates opened fire, thus making Fort Pickens the actual location of the first shots of the Civil War. Number 9. Secret missions. During the Civil War, espionage was a critical part of each side's strategy. In fact, there was even a spy known as the Angel of the North who spied on the Confederacy for the Union. Her name was Elizabeth Van Loo, and she operated a spy ring in Richmond, Virginia, which provided Union officials with valuable intelligence on Confederate troop movements and plans. However, towards the end of the war, her activities were uncovered and she was arrested. Surprisingly, instead of executing her, Confederate authorities chose to use her as bait to capture more spies, showcasing the lengths to which espionage went during the Civil War. Number 8. Women's roles. Contrary to popular belief, women played significant roles in the Civil War, both in the military and on the home front. For instance, there were women like Helen Viola Clark, who disguised herself as a man to serve in the Confederate Army. Then you have the story of Sarah Edmonds, who joined the Union Army as a nurse and later became an undercover spy. And there was even an entire unit dedicated to female spies within the Union Army called the Female Secret Service. These women gathered intelligence on Confederate forces, often by infiltrating social events attended by high-ranking officers. Number 7. Lincoln's escape. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is a big name in American history, right? But did you know he was targeted in several assassination attempts during his time in office? One of the most shocking moments happened on April 14, 1865, just days before the Civil War wrapped up. Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd, were enjoying a play at Ford's Theater when John Wilkes Booth sneaked into his box and shot him in the back of the head. Lincoln survived that initial attack, but sadly, he passed away the next morning. What a tragic end, huh? Number 6. Animals in war. Animals, particularly horses, played vital roles in the Civil War, just as they had in previous conflicts. They were essential for transportation, carrying troops and supplies. Additionally, animals like dogs and even camels were used for other purposes. For example, dogs served as messengers, carrying important documents between units, while camels were employed to haul supplies through difficult terrains. Number 5. Medical advancements. The Civil War was a time of significant medical advancement, particularly in the field of surgery. Before the war, surgery was considered dangerous due to the lack of anesthesia and antiseptics. However, advancements made during the war, such as the use of ether and chloroform as anesthetics and the introduction of antiseptic techniques by Joseph Lister, revolutionized the field of surgery and saved countless lives. In fact, the increased survival rates of soldiers after major operations went from 20% before the war to over 90% by its end. Number 4. Native American participation. It's often overlooked that many Native Americans fought in the Civil War, serving in both the Union and Confederate armies. For instance, the Confederate States of America had a full-fledged military unit known as the 1st Confederate Regiment of Cherokee Mounted Rifles. This unit played a role in several battles, demonstrating the significant contribution of Native Americans to the war effort. Number 3. Food and rations. Soldiers during the Civil War were provided with food rations that were designed to sustain them throughout their service. The typical daily ration for a Union soldier consisted of items like bread, meat such as bacon or dried beef, as well as other provisions like rice, coffee, and sugar. However, the quality and consistency of these rations varied significantly, often leading to dissatisfaction among the troops. Number 2. Copperheads. Copperheads were a group of peace Democrats in the northern United States who opposed the U.S. involvement in the Civil War. They advocated for peace with the Confederacy and were often critical of President Abraham Lincoln's policies. The Copperheads gained some support in the North, particularly among those who felt that the war was being unnecessarily prolonged. However, they faced opposition from those who supported the Union cause. Number 1. Presidential succession. When Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, the question of who would succeed him as president arose. According to the presidential line of succession established at the time, the Speaker of the House, Hannibal Hamlin, would become president. However, as fate would have it, Hannibal Hamlin was not present in Washington, D.C. when Lincoln was killed. He was visiting his sick wife. As a result, Vice President Andrew Johnson, who was also in the Capitol at the time, assumed the presidency. This unexpected turn of events led to Johnson becoming the first vice president to assume the presidency due to the death of a sitting president. Well, there you have it, folks. 10 fascinating and often overlooked Civil War facts that you won't learn anywhere else. From the lesser-known details about the war's beginnings and medical advancements to the contributions of women, African Americans, and even animals. Each fact offers a unique glimpse into this pivotal moment in history. Did any of these facts surprise you? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more engaging content. Thanks for watching.